Hang
Right
on,
then.
let me sniff.
Like you sniff.
Yeah, just do.
What did you just sniff? Line of
No, you-
cocaine? Greetings, EastEnders fans, and welcome to another episode of Albert Square After Dark, your weekly EastEnders podcast. This week, discussing the episodes that were broadcast on the BBC and BritBox on the 17th to the 20th of April 2023. My name is Rob. I hope you are well. Oh, what a week it's been in Walford. We have much to discuss. And joining me, as usual, on my side is Ree. Hello, Ree. How are you?
Hiya, Rob. I'm good, thank you. We've got a lot to discuss this week. It's been a big week, hasn't it?
It's been a huge week. I tell you what, it felt like good old classic EastEnders this week, didn't it? With a big old episode specifically set around one story, all at night. Yes. People getting the crap kicked out of them.
One. That's what we love. Tuesday.
That's what we like. So can't wait to discuss Tuesday. So let's crack on, shall we?
Let's do it.
Much to discuss. Right, so because there was a lot of big stuff kicking off this week, there was only really three sort of main stories throughout the week that we've got to discuss, and two of them were quite interlinked. So we will start this week with discussing Zack and Whitney and Martin and Ben. Now, the week sort of, like I say, it was all very much about Denise and the Panasars and Ravi and everything that was going on there. But in the background, we had a scene between Ben and Phil, and they're basically discussing this boxing match that they've got coming up. And Ben is sort of, saying to Phil, "Yeah, I've got this, Dad. I'm going to do this, Dad. Yeah, this is what you want." And Phil is just beyond bursting with pride at seeing his son, all excited to go in the boxing ring.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
Ben all over,
isn't it? Go on.
Somebody online commented on one of our videos saying that they think Ben might be going down a bit of a eating disorder route. And did you pick up on him saying that to Phil in the calf? Like, yeah. Oh, you could burn off all that food or something.
Do you know what? I don't know if it is eating disorder thing. I've got the I know what you mean, because there's a few people that have sort of picked up on Ben's eating habits, and it may well be. It may well be, because we all know that the one thing Ben needs is another issue-based storyline. But what I would say is, actually, I wonder if this is more him sort of trying to get his head into the boxing thing so much that he's just maybe over-focusing on what he's supposed to be eating and what he isn't, rather than it being an eating disorder thing.
Maybe it's more about general control rather than an eating disorder specifically. Yeah,
because he's trying to, I think, distract himself from all the Lola stuff that's going on, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I think he's throwing himself into this. I think that's what's going on. But either way, Phil couldn't care less. Phil's bursting with pride. He cannot wait to stand on the end of the ring on the night with a towel and sort of like dab his sweat away. Can't wait to do that and be the proud daddy at last. So basically, it seems like all the men of Walford are lining up to have this boxing match with Ben. Even Martin at one point turned around and goes, "I'd do it for free. Yeah, that's fine." That's because Ben's got friends and Ben has enemies. People keep asking Zack if he wants to be in the boxing match, and Zack's kind of up for it. He's a bit reluctant at first, but then goes, "All right, yeah, fine, I'll do it." Until he is told that everyone who does the boxing test, this was odd.
Yeah,
because they turn around Sharon turned around and said, "Well, it's a family-friendly thing, so everyone has to have their blood tested."
Didn't she say we're doing it properly or something? But
she said we're doing it properly, but it was just the linkage between it being family-friendly and everyone has to have their blood tested. Because nothing says family event like everyone getting their blood tested by Sonia. I don't know.
Oh, is it Sonia doing it? Oh, that's what right. That's why Whitney said to him. Right.
And obviously, with a blood test, that sends Zack into major.
So
panic
what
mode.
is it? Why is it that they do a blood test? Is it for that reason to check for things like that? Is it in case they need a blood transfusion? Surely you don't need that.
No, that's if things. I was gonna say that's if things go very, very wrong. You need a blood transfusion.
That's what I mean. I don't understand why they need one, but anyway.
I mean, I'm no expert on boxing matches, as you might. This might be an absolute shock to you, but I don't really know that much about boxing. But my guess is for that exact reason, because things can get so you don't know what's going to happen. So Zack realizes, I guess this is the time I need to tell I need to be honest here. I need to tell Sharon. I need to tell Martin. This is the time when I need to do this. A nice little scene between him and Whitney when he says, "Look, I'm going to tell Martin. I'm going to tell Sonia." And Whitney's really, really supportive and telling him to be brave and telling him to be strong and all that kind of thing. And then we actually get to the scene where Zack tells Sharon and Martin. Now, I thought this was nice. We had some nice little chat about Mark. We had some nice, chat things about Pauline and her reaction to it and how things have changed since Mark. And it was all, and it hit Martin a bit, I think. I think it kind of brought back a few old memories of an unpleasant time in his life when he lost his brother. Yeah. But it was nice for them to sort of be able to reflect on how much things have changed since then. I think Martin was kind of thinking if only Mark had kind of got it now. As opposed to
it does it makes you realise that, doesn't it, when you're watching it, thinking, wow. How far we've come since 90s, weren't it, when it all happened with Mark?
I mean, the thing is, we say that things scientifically, yes, we've come a long way, but you've got to remember when this storyline was first announced as Zack being HIV positive, and all of the reaction online was, well, how ridiculous, Zack isn't gay, and it's kind of like
everyone jumped to that conclusion. Although we knew that we knew his friend were coming in, Brett, so I don't know if people jumped to the conclusion because of that. But I know what you're saying. Still,
even then, though, it could have been that they both shared, for want of a better phrase, they both shared a woman, who would, because they were both quite laddish, and Zack was quite Lothario at that point. So it could have come from anywhere. It doesn't necessarily mean that Zack had a random gay night, and so
and then caught it.
But it was quite nice. I really like Zack and Martin's relationship. I know that Zack essentially came in and was a bit of a cush replacement.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
He works really well in his own right, doesn't he? He's a strong enough character, and it's believable. It doesn't feel like it's just Cush Mark 2 with Zack, because there's a lot more going. To be fair, there's a lot more going on with Zack than I think Cush was.
Oh yeah, you're biased there, Rob. Come on.
Yeah, it's true. Shallowness, absolute shallowness. This is nice. So presumably this means that Zack isn't going to do the boxing match. I don't know. I don't know if that. I don't know how that's.
It sounds like it's Martin, doesn't it? Because Martin says, "Oh, I'll do it then."
Oh, Martin can't wait to knock 7 bells out of Ben. To be honest, can he? He's been wanting. He's been waiting for an opportunity like this for years. So, we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But it was really nice. Just sort of, Sharon and Martin now know. I think that's now made things easier for Zack so that he can move on to the next stage. He talked about how his medication is going to be helping him kind of move forward and how he'll be undetectable in a few months' time. So quite a nice week for Zack. I hear on the grapevine that isn't going to remain the case. I think things are going to start getting a little bit more difficult next week. So I think that's why.
Right, so that's why they've randomly brought it up at the end of the week. Because I did think it were a bit odd to just introduce the Zack story at the end of the week.
I think, considering this was quite a big moment for Zack's character, I know there was a huge amount of other stuff going on this week, but I agree with you in the sense that it seemed a shame to sort of just segregate that to Friday's episode rather than sort of having Thursday's episode. Why am I still doing that? It's been like over a year.
To be fair, I do as well.
It's ridiculous. But I do know what you mean. It would have been nice to maybe kind of build up to that throughout the week instead of having it all.
It felt a bit random that it just happened at end of week.
I think it sort of lost a little bit of its emotional edge because it was just all on that one episode rather than than Zack being nervous about explaining it throughout the week. I know there was the build up in terms of, we found out he needed a blood test and all that kind of thing, but I don't know. But, what we got was nice. It worked. And so Zack has now told the people that are most important to him now. So
finally.
Finally. Yeah. So we'll see where it ends up going next week when this boxing match occurs. And we'll find out, I think, who is going to be going versus Ben. I mean, do you reckon Ben is going to win this boxing match? That's the other thing, because obviously he's doing this to make Phil proud as well as kind of
it depends who he's against. He's either going to lose and be very miserable about it, or he's going to win, but it's going to be because he's taking it too far or something. I think
maybe
those two extremes.
We've got such faith in Ben, haven't we? He can't just win fair and square. He's either going to lose and be miserable, or he's going to cheat. That's essential. He's not Dick Dastardly, is he? He can hold himself in a fight, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Right, so it is Nish's birthday, and a big old party is taking place at Walford East, and he's invited as many people as he can because Nish is all about looking popular and all about reputation. And he's invited family members, and everyone's having a great time. Eve has no intention of going to this party because Eve is far too busy trying to work out whether she can exclude Vinny from all the plans that she's making and all the kind of paperwork that she's accumulated to try and send Nish down.
Yeah.
So her and Jack have a sort of little alleyway meeting, which it's always a little secretive alley. You kind of talk to each other 30 minutes. And Jack basically turns around to her and says, look, I'm not in charge of the case. Vinny's on this paperwork, so there's not a lot I can do, all right? So if you want Vinny to be taken off, then, good luck with that.
Case is closed, isn't it? Isn't that what it says? Case will be closed then. Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know what Eve thinks is going to happen here because she sends all of this paperwork off to the police. They are going to literally just go through. And does she think that it's just going to stay at Nish? Like, they're not going... Mind you, this is Walford police. This is Walford police,
that.
and anything's
I thought that, like, surely
police.
Suki's going to be... Surely
you
they
think?
can't. Suki must... Can't just, she must be implicated.
Well, you think so, because it's not just the Panasar, it's not just Nish kind of taking charge of everything. Like, Suki's been in charge of all the business stuff before Nish came out of prison.
Yeah, exactly.
And Vinny's been involved all the way along anyway, so I don't really know
We've just got a trustee, she's a solicitor, she must know that Suki is somehow not implicated in this evidence that she's getting.
Well, I mean, she's cleverer than Walford Police. We'll come on to Walford Police in a moment because I have much to say about Walford Police. But basically, she turns around to Jack and says, right, okay, so everyone's going to be at this party. The house is going to be empty. So use this opportunity to go and search Nish's house. Jack doesn't do that. So Eve basically does it.
Yeah, because I was thinking when she said that, like, I don't think you're allowed to do that. So any evidence you did collect illegally...
Because you need a search warrant, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
You need a search warrant. Yeah, and Jack's all about following the rules, isn't he? Like, he's very, very keen on following the rules. So Eve basically uses the opportunity when she sees that the coast is clear. She goes into the house and is trying to accumulate all this evidence and find paperwork and all that kind of thing. Meanwhile, at the party, Nish is upset Vinny because he's basically making a huge fuss about Ravi, how he's wasted all these years not having his son in his life and basically holding Ravi up on a pedestal. And Vinny sort of just is feeling really kind of downhearted about it, downbeat, and just leaves. I really like how Suki is actually standing up for Vinny now because Suki was really harsh on Vinny at the start, wasn't she?
Yeah, I must say I didn't quite understand this actually. Like, I do get it, but she weren't that nice to her kids at the start, and now all of a sudden she's being nicer. So are we supposed to assume that's because Eve's brought this side out of her and now she's being nice to her kids rather than harsh? I don't know.
It's interesting that because, you sort of... Nish is basically, we're led to believe that Nish is the reason that Suki was the way she was when we first met her and how she first came in. Because remember, this is the same woman who pretended she had cancer for months.
Oh, God,
yeah. But obviously, since Nish has arrived, she's mellowed out slightly because Suki needs to look like the nice parent now. And next to Nish, anyone's at night. And next to Nish, most people are the good parent, to be fair. So, Vinny kind of storms back to the house. Suki follows him. And Eve's kind of hiding away because, they've kind of come in while she's busy looking for all this paperwork. So Eve goes and hides. And overhears Suki and Vinny talking. And Suki's basically saying things like, you are one of the most important things in my life. My world will be over if you end up going to prison or if you end up leaving me, blah, 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 blah. Which makes Eve kind of realise, well, I can't do this then, can I? If I can't break her heart this way. So once Vinny's out the way, Suki goes into the kitchen to make a cup of tea because she has clearly had no intention of going back to the party either. And Eve just wanders into the kitchen and Suki doesn't even look that surprised. It's like, why are you here?
Yeah, she didn't do that.
God's sake. Why are you here?
What now?
What now? I haven't got time to do this now. And Eve basically says, look, all right, fine. Plans off then, but I can't. Me and you can't be a thing anymore because I can't.
Well, no, she actually gives her a bit of she kind of gives her an ultimatum, doesn't she? She says, "These are the documents. This is what I've got. It's up to you. If you take these and destroy them, then we're over." Even though her taking those documents means that Vinny's not implicated. So actually, bit of a, can I call it a DICK move from Eve, don't you think? Saying
you have done.
Sorry.
Well, no, because I think what it's meant to be doing though is that Eve is trying to basically make Suki see that they need to get rid of Nish, but I don't think Eve is really considering what Suki has.
Well, this is what I mean, because surely as a mother, she's gonna pick the option that means protecting her son. Having said that, she's just let her other son go down for a murder that she's committed, that she thinks
she committed. Yeah. But of course, you know, that choice also rears its ugly head this week as well. So Suki has got Nish a plate. It's kind of like a ceremonial plate, cultural thing.
From Babaji's village, she said, I think.
Yes. Yeah. And he apparently had an original plate when he was in prison. His cellmate broke it out of spite and viciousness. And Nish takes great joy in explaining to Vinny how he knocked his cellmate's teeth out and, you know, basically knocked him unconscious of breaking his plate. Yeah. So Vinny's kind of like, Daddy's scary, I don't like it.
Yeah.
But this plate turns out to be quite important later on because once all the stuff is going on with Ravi, which we will discuss in a moment, and this plate ends up getting broken again in sort of the furore that all causes, which we will discuss shortly. Suki's basically frantically trying to fix this plate, opens the drawer. Now, this all came out of left field for me. I don't know I don't know quite what I was expecting for this. She is trying to basically pull this drawer out and sort of find some glue, and she's stressing about it because she's just got the sentencing news that Kirat's been sent down for life.
Yeah.
Which, again, Walford police, they are useless. They have basically taken this guy who's just strolled in and said, yeah, that was me. They've not bothered looking for any evidence. They've not asked any questions. They've just said, yeah, that'll do. Not to diss the police
too much, but anything to make their life a bit easier. They go, all right, yeah,
well, I mean, it's just Walford police, though, isn't it? They are the most useless constabulary in the world. Yeah. And it doesn't seem like the Walford justice system is much better either. So Kirat at the moment has got life. Now, there is a kind of train of thought that makes you think that whatever is going to go on with Ravi, considering they brought this storyline up again, they've got video evidence, you know, we've seen the camera footage again. It makes me think that this isn't entirely over, and that maybe if it can turn out that be revealed that Ravi did it, then that might open the door for Kirat. I was waiting when she was watching that footage. I was waiting for her to like leave it on accidentally or something, and it carry on playing and to see. Ravi Ravi edited it, didn't he? He edited himself out of the footage completely, so it is just Suki kind of looking like she killed him. Now, briefly about this video, I don't know if you're aware of this.
Yes, Suki's I am. I know exactly what you're going to say.
Suki's wearing a different dress.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if this is EastEnders' version of the blue gold dress debate. That could be what's going on here. But they basically changed Suki's dress in the CCTV footage for the dress that she's wearing, you know, sort of for the 6 Women trailer. So, which makes me think that this is actually a really important part of the story. I'm going to rewatch that. I'm going to try and find the original bit when she kills Ranveer and see what. I know that she was wearing the pink dress, but did she get changed at some point? And she did, you know, when she actually attacked. No, she didn't, did she? She didn't. So they've basically gone in and kind of coloured. People are going, well, you can. They did. You can't. Basically, what they've done is that they've kind of continuity, Rob. I know continuity, but they've basically just gone in and colour changed it, which is interesting because, like I say, because that's the colour dress that she was wearing in. You know, she's wearing basically all of the 6 Women promo and trailers and all that kind of thing, and on Christmas Day, it kind of makes you think that this side of the story is going to be really, really relevant moving forwards, because otherwise, why would they bother doing that? Yeah, so, very true. Yeah, interesting. It's so annoying, this Christmas thing, because every time they do something, like, it's a clue. But what does it mean? Why have they changed the colour of the dress, though? I don't get why they had to do that. It's a pretty bold move, isn't it? Well, yeah, because they know that people like us are going to be like, if you trace the dress, continuity, what's going on there? Like, I can forgive it, but I just don't know why they've bothered to do it, because we all know this. It must be relevant, and that must be really important moving forward. But what I wanted to know is, because obviously they filmed they recorded it. Oh, I guess that they could just edit her dress on as a different colour, couldn't they? That's what they've done, yeah. They've not like refilmed, or they've not like that's what I wondered. They refilmed. No, they've not like brought in the Ranveer actor. Right, we need to just refilm this because she's wearing a different dress now. That would be ridiculous. Like, all they've done is basically just kind of gone in the edit and colour changed it. You can do amazing things in an edit, Ree. I tell you, you should see what I do with you in an edit. I tell you. Ree's got like really, really short hair in real life. I just make her give her these flowing locks. Yeah, it's gorgeous. And I'm like 68 in real life. The powers of the edit turns me into this beautiful 21-year-old. It's great. So anyway, She finds a dongle at the back with this kind of edited CCTV.
It's a memory stick, but yeah.
It's a memory stick, yeah. USB. That's what they call it, a dongle.
That's for internet. That's an internet thing.
Yes,
it is.
Cloud. I know. And Eve kind of comes around and they watch this footage, and Eve's kind of like, well, this is obviously Nish. He's clearly trying to control you even more. And Suki's like, well, I've got this now. This basically means that I can get Kira out of prison. Off I go. Nish returns home. He's found the memory stick. He's watched what's on it, and he's trying to persuade Suki, saying, "Look, you don't need to do this. I love you. You can't do this. Kirat's made his decision." And Suki, fair play to her, stands up for herself and goes, "No, I'm not interested in anything you've got to say. I'm going to the police station now."
Actually, he's quite harsh. He says, "I will allow you to do this."
Yeah, this is Nish all over, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and at one point he's kind of like, "I said no," and Suki's just not buying any of it. She's like, "Whatever."
Not bothered.
So she goes into the police station, gives herself in effectively, like tells the police.
Not before having a longing look at Eve across the square, by the way, before she goes in.
To do that. Well, they have a conversation, don't they? Where Eve's basically like, "This is your last chance. You don't need to do this."
Yeah.
But she goes to the police station, hands herself in, tells them everything, hands them the memory stick. Nish has wiped the memory stick, so there's nothing on it. And the police are like, clearly you're just trying to kind
make
of
this up to get Kira off. Yeah.
Exactly. This is how useless they are. The real murderer can go into the police station and go, "It was me," and they're like, "No, you ain't fooling us."
We did court today on this case. We've closed it now. Oh no, we're not doing that. No.
Absolutely useless. But Suki kind of returns home, is furious because she's been humiliated, and she realizes that Nish is just completely and utterly trying to control her. He won't even let her go to prison. And it was a really interesting moment when Nish turned around and said, "Out of the two of you, I love my son, but no contest."
That's exactly what I was just about to bring up as well, Rob. Exactly what I was just about to bring up. Why didn't she question that?
Because, but it's not surprising though, is it?
But you would question that. Like, I would be happy but I wouldn't be happy if my baby's father went, "I'm putting you before our child." I'd be like, "I expect you to put our child before me, actually." But everyone's different.
But this is Nish. But your partner isn't a coercive controller, and that's Nish all over. He is obsessed with Suki. He's got this really kind of obsessive brain over it all, and I think that was a really kind of big character moment, a really interesting moment.
He was always jealous, weren't he, of Kirat when he came out, if you remember.
Yeah, and he was quite pleased to get rid of Kirat in the end. So this is all worked out for him quite well. But it's just it's fascinating. Has Nish grown? Because you were saying last week that you were kind of struggling with Nish and sort of.
Well, we'll get onto that because with the Ravi stuff, I am seeing past Kurt from Teachers now.
Good.
Being evil, Nish being evil, definitely.
Yes, I mean he is evil.
I actually have started to see. I've started understanding the hype of Suki and Eve actually a little bit this week, and I've started noticing Suki being a lot more vulnerable and how he's brought it out. It's all kind of clicked for me actually this week with Panasars, I must admit.
Nice.
It was whoa. Rewind. Rewind. How amazing did Suki look this week?
Oh, she's stunning. Belinda Soper's a goddess. She is absolutely stunning.
I love that colour blue as well.
Yeah,
smashing.
It's amazing on her. That's why they've changed it in the video, because Belinda Soper's like, you can change that. Look better in blue.
Blue's your colour, not pink. No, forget it.
It looks far fitter in blue. We'll do that. But talking to Suki and Eve, she goes to the slate because Eve's devastated. Eve is destitute by the fact that she
loved it when Stacey like, "Oh, you're just like Romeo and Juliet, you two, aren't you?" Like, even Stacey's like, rolls her eyes.
Yeah, Stacey's so done with it. She opens the door to Suki. Oh, she's in there.
She's like, "Oh, look who's here! Told you 2 minutes later."
Not even surprised. She was she wasn't expecting Suki to guard herself in. She was like, "Oh yeah, she's in there. Go on, get in." And the two of them basically say, "Right, we're going to take Nish down. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care what we have to do. We've got to be careful, but he is going down." And that's sort of like the duff to end their storyline this week. So what the hell are they going to do? Because they can't make this footage work for them. The police basically have no interest in listening to what anything Suki says about this murder case. As far as they're concerned, that's done and dusted. So how the hell are they going to get rid of Nish? Unless
Maybe
it's
they're
him on
going
the
to
floor
set
on
it.
Christmas
Maybe
Day.
they're going to set him up with something. Set him up for a new crime that doesn't implicate Vinny somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that might be. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, this week again has done nothing to suggest that it's going to be anybody other than Nish or possibly Ravi on the floor on Christmas Day.
No.
I know we've still got a long way to go until then, and all the other women have still got sort of their stories to culminate.
Yeah.
But it's just, I can't see how it's not Nish at the moment.
Maybe that's how it's all going to tie in, how even Sue could go about, trying to set him up for something. I don't know. But it's also been pretty obvious that Vinny's not a massive fan of his dad this week, hasn't it? So is he going to get involved somehow?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Ravi ends up killing Nish, but then they've done the sort of like fake out murder thing where a woman thinks she's done it when actually it was Ravi. So maybe they wouldn't do that again. I don't know. I mean, it's gripping, this storyline. I absolutely love it. I love seeing the way it's all building up, and it's just really, really good. This week was fantastic.
Yeah, it really was.
And the reason that it was so fantastic this week was because of the next story, which we will come on to right now. Okay, so the secret is out. God, this was good this week. So Amy has confronted Denise with what she knows, and Denise is sort of struggling with, well, how do I deal with this? How is Amy going to deal with this? Because Amy's delicate at the moment. Amy is fragile at the moment. Amy really is delicate and fragile this week because she starts getting drunk. She steals a bottle of wine that Jack and Denise are drinking. I mean, to be fair, at least she's not going to the club and nicking vodka, but she just...
Needs must, innit?
Needs must, simplicity's sake. Swipes this bottle of wine that Denise and Jack are drinking and just drinks herself unconscious with a bottle of wine, lightweight. To be fair, I know she's young, but
she was drinking she was drinking all day as well. To be fair, Rob, she's been drinking tinnies in her room as well. Yeah,
she's had a few ciders. I mean, I don't need to bring up the story of me and the vodka bottle again, but that's what it took to get me to that state. Just saying, But
she's she's 14 though, Rob. Like, to be fair,
that's how old I was. That's how old I was when I drank that vodka bottle and was in the same state. But just saying, I'm dead hard, as everyone knows. So. Denise kind of discovers Amy basically unconscious on the bed and realizes, no, I can't put all this on Amy. I need to tell Jack the truth. So she goes downstairs and kind of works herself up and says, and tells Jack that she's kissed Ravi. Now, Jack at first is kind of like a bit stunned. And then some of the cogs start to turn in his head and she goes, hang on a minute, was it you that told him about the investigation? And then all hell breaks loose.
Oh, yes.
Denise says, yes, it was me. I didn't tell him about it. We didn't sleep together. I stopped myself, but Jack's away. Jack strolls over to Nish's party where Ravi is. It kind of disrupts everything, ruins the event. Nish is forced to stand up for Ravi because that's what a father would do. That's the kind of reputation he needs to kind of build up for himself. So Jack storms in like, I'll kill you. And Ravi is obviously kind of trying to defend himself.
In the middle of having a family photo or something when he storms in. Yeah.
All the Panasars are basically just having this really nice family moment with Chelsea as well. That's the other thing. Chelsea has now found out about all this because Jack strolls in, tells everybody everything, basically explains how Ravi's been going after his married woman. Chelsea is devastated. She storms off, leaving Ravi and Jack to basically fight it out outside. Now, this fight that they had, this physical fisticuffs fight, it was hardcore, wasn't it?
It was brutal.
It was brutal because at one point during this fight, Ravi is literally punching the back of Jack's
him in
head.
Yeah, I thought that, like, wow, you've been in prison before, haven't you, mate?
This is the thing. I mean, Ravi's a nutter at the best of times when he's in that state. And you could tell that Ravi basically just went into full-on prison mode then, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was really sort of pummeling. It takes Denise...
He wanted Jack to throw that first punch, didn't he? Antagonising him.
Yeah, it was winding him up.
Yeah,
winding him up, which I think is how you can get away with smacking the back of a police officer's head, I assume. Because you can just say, oh, well, he started on the officer, Your Honour. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't, but Christ. Denise basically has to pull them apart. I mean, the thing about Tuesday's episode, which is one of the great things about Tuesday's episode, was the fact that it was just entirely focused on the Denise, Ravi and Jack thing and the kind of ramifications that was coming from that.
Yeah.
And it was great. I mean, like I say, Chelsea was brokenhearted, ran away. She's broken up with Ravi now. Is Ravi and Chelsea ever going to come back again, do you think? Because Ravi has genuinely fallen for Chelsea, I think, now. It started off as him using her, and now he's sort of taken
I'm not sure,
his heart.
because she needs to protect herself, doesn't she? So I think if they do get back on track, it'll take Chelsea a while. Also, by the way, just backtracking a little bit.
Yes.
Did you find it a bit weird that Ravi bought her a dress?
Yeah.
Or is that just me? I thought it were a bit like Nish controlling, actually.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure. I reckon there probably are parallels that you can draw between that. Because it's nothing that Nish would do that in a heartbeat, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Like, kind of control what Suki's wearing.
Yeah.
It's the start of it, I think. But at the same time, I think that he was basically just spoiling Chelsea, because the thing is, Chelsea is quite superficial in that sense, isn't she?
Yeah.
So a bloke basically buying her the most gorgeous dress in the room.
A lot of trust in a bloke buying you a dress and it being the right size, the right style. You know,
he got it right. He got it right. She looked stunning, to be fair.
Oh, I know.
And well, it certainly turned Nish's eye as well. Did you notice?
I did notice. Yeah, did notice that.
I feel like Chelsea's role in this storyline is far from done. I got that feeling. You know,
you don't think it's going to be a bit of a what's it called? Oh my God, why have I thought Stacey and Archie? Could not remember Archie's name then.
It's possible, because you know there is parallels you can draw between Archie and Nish, and how they're the sort of evil patriarchs of their big family. So yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I don't know. And also because Chelsea has such abysmal taste in men. Like, she is some of the worst taste in men.
Literally.
You know, if I think of her history, you know, when she first came back, she was, you know, pushing drugs for this bloke, and went for a drug dealer. And then she went for Gray, and now she's ended up with Ravi. I would be surprised if Nish has got the charms and things for able to get, you know, flashing money around. I know Chelsea's matured in recent months, but there is still that side to her.
Do you know how the other week I was like, oh, I'm on Ravi's side there, kind of like.
Yeah, is that still the case?
Yeah, I still kind of feel really bad for him.
Well, this is how bad Nish is as a person, though, isn't it? Because if I was to turn around to you and say, who's worse, Nish or Ravi, you'd have to say Nish in a heartbeat, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And all of that basically boiled down to the fact that there was a scene with Ravi, a brilliant scene between Nish and Ravi this week, where after Nish has put Ravi on the pedestal and basically sold him to the square, and then gets himself humiliated, he is furious about that. So Ravi, after it's all exploded, kind of comes around and tries to talk to Nugget, who is also devastated and embarrassed and humiliated. Because you can see his because you can see his family disintegrating again before his very eyes. Ravi kind of comes around to the Panasars, and Nish backhands him, and I wasn't expecting that either. That was another shock. And that's how the second plate ends up gets broken, because Ravi goes flying across the room, smashes the plate.
And he looked absolutely terrified of Nish, but realistically, Ravi could have easily had Nish if he wanted.
Yeah, probably, but that's also the power of, like, I'm not trying to overbuild Nish in terms of his status, but that is the status that he's built himself within the Panasars, isn't he? Because
totally, yeah. Otherwise, he could have just got up and fought him back, but he didn't because he was scared.
And there was an interesting moment during that argument as well, where he said his piece, said, "You're an embarrassment to the family, you're pathetic, you should be ashamed of yourself." And to Suki, as if to say, "You're up, do your thing, and you need to start showing him now as well." And Suki just kind of went into mode, you're a terrible person, get out. You've shown us all up, and it's kind of like,
I found that interesting when Suki did that, because she obviously stuck up for Nish in that moment, and then afterwards when he went to talk to her, I got a hint of her being a bit like, "Oh, you're terrified of him."
Yeah, she's terrified of him.
Have we been told that he's hit her before? Because I've never seen him physically hurt her.
No, he's never physically hurt her before. But this is the guy that killed somebody because he thought that he was having an affair with Suki.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's not capable. Like, I think I could see Nish being the sort of, I could see the Nish storyline sort of culminating in one of these kind of, well, if I can't have you, nobody can. One of those mad kind of scenarios, which seems right up Nish's street, because he is a nutter, and his nuttiness is increasing. But again, there is a long time till Christmas, so I fail to see how it's anybody other than Nish on the floor on Christmas Day at this stage. I really do. But he kind of wanders into other people's storylines as well. He's still kind of he thinks he's got the Vic at some point, so I can see him being a suspect from Linda and Sharon, and there's plenty of potential for it to be Nish, and I don't see how it's not at this stage. But like we say, long way to go. But anyway, back to Denise and Jack, who Denise is kind of just devastated, and like her life's been destroyed. It's a very bad day, Denise. Diane Parrish was amazing this week, by the way. I thought
she was actually, she actually was. I agree.
And so she kind of goes back and she's trying to persuade Jack, look, we can fix this. It was only a kiss, and Jack's not interested. So Denise kind of goes and stays with Kim. Now, meanwhile, Amy struggling big time with this because she feels like it's all her fault. She's basically on the verge of a panic attack all week and starts having a bit of a breakdown as the week goes on. And as all this madness goes on, she sees Jack exploding and Denise crying, and it's all going horribly, horribly wrong. She just kind of gets getting drunker, and at one point she breaks her necklace, which I think is that the one that her mum gave her. So
one of her turning points was Nuggets then turned on her, and obviously she was describing him as a rock previously, weren't she? And then Denzel's trying to, be nice with Amy, and Nuggets blaming Amy, which is exactly what she doesn't need right now, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I know I'd stand up for Nugget, but I mean, you can sort of see where Nugget's coming from because I know he's a little git. I know he's Nugget at the end of the day, but you can sort of see,
from his childish perspective, you can understand him saying, "Oh, it's your fault, Amy. You shouldn't have."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Blame anybody except the people that are actually in fault.
You should have told Denzel in the first place, Nugget. So actually, calm down.
Yeah, exactly. But Amy trashes her room because she's that kind of breaking down and that upset and that angry, and the mirror gets smashed, and then she's kind of staring at the fragments of the mirror, and you kind of think
broken necklace,
and she's on the edge, and you kind of think, is she about to do something incredibly silly? But she doesn't. She rings Lily. And Lily kind of just goes round and is trying to get into the house, and then Jack turns up with the key, and she's like, "All right, okay, cool, you deal with that. See you later, bye."
Bye.
But Lily walks off, leaving Jack and Denise to kind of deal with the situation. Then again, some really, really nice scenes. Ellie Dad as Amy. Well done, love. Very, 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 very good.
Yeah, she was really good this week.
She was really, really good this week. And sort of just breaks down, and you just see this girl that has just no idea how to sort of function when it's all going wrong for her like this. Like, she's got so much going on in her head all the time, full of anxiety, depressed, and just sort of, she misses her mum, I think is a big thing to say this week. I tell you what, when she rang Lily, I thought it was going to, I'm so desperate for the Ronnie and Roxy killing mistake to be rectified. That I'm like, yep, that's it. She's ringing Roxy. Roxy's still alive. When Jack rang Denise, I was like,
when Jack rang Denise, I thought it was Roxy as well. That was right. I did the exact same with Jack. Yeah. One day, it's Roxy, isn't it?
One day it'll happen. One day those girls will come back, and I will die on that hill. I tell you. But yeah, it's great. By the time the week comes to an end, Amy is sort of righted herself again. She's sort of a little bit happier. Because Denise and Jack are sort of talking again, but Jack has basically said, "Look, I can't deal with this at the moment. I need to deal with Amy," and Denise sort of understands that. And so, I mean, Denise and Jack, are they over, do you think, or do you reckon they'll be able to sort this out?
I think Denise and Jack are more likely to get back together than Ravi and Chelsea.
Okay.
But I don't think right now. I think he's got to save face a bit as well, hasn't he? And he thinks that he might get sacked. Yeah, his wife's been playing away with a person that was on the investigation that he was in charge of at the time. So yeah, maybe it depends on what happens to him at work as well on that one. But I think it's clear he's going to need her support, because if Amy's in this way and Denise seems to be the only person who can really get through to her when she's bad, then yeah, I don't think that they can fully break up. But who knows?
Time will tell. But yeah, it was a great culmination to sort of the Ravi Denise secrets this week. It really blew up. Bloody marvellous. Absolutely bloody marvellous. Right, so the end of a really, really strong week. I don't think the show put a foot wrong this week, to be honest. It was gripping, it was exciting, it was emotional, it was just a good week of EastEnders.
Yeah, very much.
Really, really good week of EastEnders. Well done, everybody involved. Gold star this week, Ree? Who do you reckon? Who are you giving your gold star to?
Oh, I'm stuck between
tough one.
Diane Parrish and Ellie Dad, actually, I think, this week.
Oh, you're going straight to the actors this week, are you?
Oh, yes, sorry.
No, that's all right. You're allowed to do that. That's all right. You can do that.
It's got to be Ellie Dad, actually.
Okay, so give it to Ellie Dad, who plays Amy. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Amy. Sorry,
fair enough. I would say Denise myself, because I just thought that whole thing just played out beautifully. But it's hard to this week when it's all kind of firing on all cylinders like that. It's difficult to sort of single one person out.
They're good together as well, actually, aren't they? They really work together as
Denise and Amy,
stepmother and stepdaughter. Yeah, really.
Yeah,
well.
It's nice. Yeah, and it's madness because for such a long time, Denise and Jack were just sort of completely and utterly immaterial, and now they genuinely feel like a couple.
Yeah,
Because
true.
if you remember, the show couldn't even be asked to show them getting married on Christmas Day. That wasn't important because they were busy dealing with the Grey stuff at the time. So now we're actually focusing on Denise and Jack as the couple and sort of seeing them having problems and seeing Denise being a part of the family. They are really working as a unit, all of them. It's great. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to sort of seeing how this all plays out. Much more to come from that this week, but it's gone in a completely different direction. So very, 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 very exciting. Marvelous. Right then, ladies and gents, don't forget to join in the discussion in the comment section below, and you can send us an email or go on our Facebook like some of these people have on the socials.
So first this week, Rob, we've got a message from Chad Elliott Price on our Facebook group, which says, when EastEnders creates the drama but grounds it in the character-driven stuff, it is truly untouchable as great soap opera. This week has overall been fantastic. Let's hope this continues because the Crenshaw era could truly turn out to be one for the ages. What do you think to that one, Rob?
It's hard to argue with that, really. The Clenna's era is just on a high. Occasionally, we've had the odd little bit and piece that hasn't worked, the odd little blip now and again, but on the most part, the way that the show has just transformed itself over the past few months, like this week being a prime example, and it feels like there's so much more to come. And it feels like there's so much foreplanning going on. It's just really, really, really exciting. And it's kind of like you see what the other soaps are doing, and it's like EastEnders is so far ahead of them at the moment. It's mad.
It's been so good since Crenshaw came on, and I agree wholeheartedly.
If they don't absolutely rake in the awards at the British Soap Awards, and frankly, the British Soap Awards needs to be disclosed and closed down and disbanded and not be relevant anymore.
Don't forget to vote still.
Don't forget to vote. You have links on the pages for last week. Another comment we've had a comment from a guy called Ben. I don't know if you know Ben. I think he used to be a part of another podcast. I don't know.
Oh,
Ben Ben has said a really good week for all episodes. Loads of great moments from everyone. As usual, the low points was Ben and the boxing stuff, but even Phil wasn't too painful to watch. There you go. So bless Ben and Ben.
The Ben and the boxing stuff, I think, was just kind of thrown in for this week anyway, just so that we could have the Zack storyline come out and the HIV stuff. So it was inoffensive, I think, this week.
It was inoffensive. I mean, I am kind of wondering where this is going and exactly, because it feels like it's obvious that Ben is doing this because of the emotional upheaval the Lola stuff is causing him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Ben is Ben, isn't he? And any a plethora of reasons could be why he's kind of throwing himself into this, and what the outcome of this will be. Trying to make Phil proud, trying to distract himself. The jury's out. But we'll see, because I think the boxing match is next week. So buckle up, people. It's going to be an interesting one. That's it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Ree, how can our beautiful listeners and our lovely viewers get in touch with us?
You can find us on Facebook on Albert Square After Dark, on Twitter and Instagram at E20 After Dark. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can listen to us on Apple and all your favourite podcast sites. Don't forget, lastly, email us at e20afterdarkpodcast@gmail.com.
Very nice. Now then, ladies and gents, a bit of an announcement at the end of this. So the software that we use to do the video
announcement
stuff, I know, you weren't aware of this. Yeah.
Okay.
The software that we're using to sort of do videos, YouTube, is Veed is closing down its things at the end of the month. It's shutting down on April the 28th. So I'm sort of trying to find something else in terms of how we can get video. If only listening to this via audio, this doesn't affect you whatsoever.
Yeah.
But if you're watching on YouTube and you like the videos, we may have a couple of weeks where there's no video because I'm trying to find an alternative. But if anyone's got any clues or any ideas, please let me know.
Yeah, if anyone knows a good place, we both want to keep the videos going, don't we? So let us know if you know any alternatives to Veed.
Please do. But until next week, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
See you next week, guys. Bye.
Bye.